Everyone seems to be getting all worked up and excited over AI tools these days, and I fought the urge to use them for so long, but finally I gave in and said, screw it, I'm going to give them a try. And it's not because I don't like AI tools, I'm happy to surrender to our computer masters when the day of reckoning comes. I've just never had a practical use for them. But I've just finished working on a project where I was creating a promo video for a hackathon that was all about generative AI tools. And when we were prepping for the project, we thought, wouldn't it be interesting if we could use some of these generative AI tools to actually create content for the video, instead of just having a regular video that talks about these tools? So we decided, yep, we'll give it a go. So I tried out a few tools, see how they worked, see what kind of content they come up with, and to be honest, the results were a bit mixed. Now, the video itself was pretty straightforward. It had text, it had images, it had stock footage, all moving around the screen in a cool way to some hip and groovy music. So I needed three things. I needed something for the text, something for the video, and something for the images. So to get started, I used a tool called ChatSonic to create all of the text that I was going to need on screen. Now, I started off by asking it for a list of keywords that describe generative AI, and it came up with a list that was pretty okay, but it was a bit too long and too many words in it. So I said, can you use fewer words in the list? And that was a bit of an improvement, but it was still a bit dry and a bit boring and not something you could put on screen. So I asked it to just refine it one more time by making it more inspirational and more promotional. So I got a really cool list and managed to save it as a Word document, and that was all of the text done and ready to go. Next up, I used MidJourney to create some nice still images to go into the video. Now, there's lots of different tools out there like DALL-E, which I couldn't use because OpenAI won't let me sign up to their platform. But I've seen lots of really cool examples of art from MidJourney that pop up in my feed, so I thought that's the one I'll use. With MidJourney, you start off by creating an account on Discord and you go into a group chat, and you start by using the command /imagine followed by keywords or prompts that describe what kind of image you're looking for in terms of contents, layout, subject, and various technical things that describe the style of the image that you're looking for, and you hit return. Now, the thing with chat in Discord is that it's a bit like one of those sushi restaurants where they have the conveyor belt that goes around the restaurant with all the little dishes, except the conveyor belt is set to warp speed. So as you type in your prompts, lots of other people are typing in their prompts as well, and you have to keep an eye on your jobs to make sure you don't miss them, because if you take your eye off it, it can go way up the list and you spend a few minutes trying to find where your images are, and it gets a bit stressful at times. But once you get used to the speed of the chat and you learn how to keep an eye on your own jobs, it's actually pretty easy after that. But the good thing about having lots of other people using the chat at the same time is that you get to learn which prompts work best. So you look at someone else's picture and you go, ooh, that's quite nice. And then you check and see what prompts they used and how they specify the type of camera or the type of artist style to use. You get much better pictures. So it is actually useful to look at how other people are describing or phrasing their prompts, and you'll get better pictures too. Once you've figured out what your prompts are and you hit return, you wait a minute or two, and then you get 4 low resolution stills to show you what the AI has actually come up with. Now, if one of them is the perfect picture, you just click on the upscale button, and then in a little bit you get a high resolution version of it. If one of those 4 variations is close but not quite what you want, but it's nearly there, you can hit the variation button, and then the AI will take that picture and go off and come up with 4 new versions of that image, and you can keep repeating this until it gets the exact picture you want. So once your high-res image is ready, you just download it and you're ready to go, eventually. Now, I say eventually because MidJourney really should come with a warning, because it is so addictive. I spent hours on MidJourney trying out, different prompts, trying out different styles and different keywords to get different images. And in the end, I spent a couple of hours there and I had way more images than I needed, but it's just really good fun to see what you can get out of the AI just using different prompts or specifying different artists or different movies to incorporate into the style of the image. So be warned, it's good, it's useful, but it is addictive and you will disappear down a wormhole for hours if you're not careful. Now, with the still images done and dusted, it was time to create some stock footage for the video. Now, I used a platform called Runway, which has a whole suite of video editing tools, but the one I used was called Generation 1 Video to Video. And what this does is it lets you upload a piece of footage and then modify it in one of three ways. You can either upload a photo, you can use some built-in presets, which get some really interesting results, or you can use a traditional chat interface to type in some prompts to modify how the video is going to be processed by the AI. Now it works like this: you upload your piece of footage and then you upload an image, or you can use one of the different presets that are baked into Runway, or you can start typing in some keywords and see what happens. Now, much like MidJourney, once you hit enter, it comes up with 4 low resolution still images to give you an idea of what the AI has come up with based on your input. So if you like one of them, you hit generate and it creates an actual video for you. But the thing to remember here is that you need to click the upscale checkbox over in the right, otherwise the video will be really low resolution, really small and pretty unusable. Now I have to say, I got a little bit addicted to this, and 2 hours later and $40 or $50 later, after upgrading to standard membership and buying 2 batches of additional seconds, I had some interesting videos. But would I use them? Probably not. The quality was quite weird and they varied somewhere between a fever dream and some sort of digital sludge or weird surreal Salvador Dali thing. So unless you're looking for something that's specifically surreal or specifically weird and odd, it's not really something that's going to compete with professional high quality stock footage. But apart from that, personally I found the hassle of uploading a video and using the presets or typing in the prompts and using up seconds each time. It was just too much of a hassle and too much of a pain in the bum, and honestly I got fed up very quickly and just stopped using it. Part of the problem is that some video clip and image combinations or some videos and preset combinations work really well, but others don't. But I wasn't able to spot a pattern or some common thread that said, right, this will result in a good output or this is going to result in a bad output. So there's no real way to learn what's going to work and what's not. And because each time you generate a video, it eats into your allowance of seconds, it gets very expensive. Now, overall, I don't think Runway is worth the effort or the expense unless you're looking for something very specific, like I was, which was for a generative AI video. So if you're looking to create some sort of corporate video or even a music video or a promo, these weird, trippy, surreal videos probably aren't going to do it for you. MidJourney is really, really cool, but like I said, it is so addictive, it needs to come with a government health warning because you'll spend so much time in there making more images than you actually need. But in the end, you will come out with some really cool images once you master the art of describing what it is you're looking for. And honestly, it's way easier sometimes than scrolling through page after page of stock photos because you can customize it really easily and get a very specific image that you want. So you get the image you want and then you don't have to do any photoshopping afterwards in a lot of cases. So MidJourney is actually very good. Runway, on the other hand, it actually has a lot of potential, but the quality of the output and the clunky user experience makes trial and error really painful and time consuming and expensive. It's just not there yet. If you can put up with that, give it a go, but realistically the footage that you get isn't going to compete with professional stock footage that you get from all of your favorite stock footage providers. But the things I really worry about with generative AI tools aren't the quality of the output or how expensive it is or how quickly or easy it is to use. It's the legal and ethical implications. So let's say I create an image in MidJourney and it's brilliant, but it uses a style or it uses content created by another artist. Is that legal? can I use that content without getting sued? If I create a video that contains someone else's content, legally can I use that, or am I going to get a strike or a letter from a solicitor or a lawyer at some point and say, you've stolen our stuff? And even if it turns out that it is actually legal, is it ethical? So you have artists who put a lot of work, they spend their lives developing their own style, developing their own particular way of capturing their view of the world and putting it onto paper or capturing it in pixels. And then I just press a few buttons and recycle that and pass it off as my own. Honestly, I don't think it's ethical, so I don't really care if it's legal or not. Ethically, it's not right. And I think for that reason, I'm unlikely to use generative AI tools anytime soon.